Founded nearly 50 years ago, Casey's General Stores has become a retail keystone of small towns across the Midwest. The Ankeny, Iowa-based chain of more than 1,900 stores excels in providing fuel, friendly service, and food to millions of customers across their 14-state market area.
Everybody knows him. Everybody respects him.
He is committed to what he's doing and to the people. And when you're in a service industry like Bob is, it's the people that make the difference for success or failure. And when you're that committed to your people, you can't help but succeed.
He's, again, a very humble individual and would just as soon stay in the background. But it's hard to do when he's had the impact that he has over his tenure as the CEO.
I mean, he worked hard to be where he is.
Casey's success is a direct reflection of the vision and work ethic of its past leaders. Founder Don Lamberti, Ron Lamb, and most recently, its former Chief Executive Officer and current Chairman of the Board, Bob Myers. Notable achievements during Bob's tenure include the evolution of Casey's store design, walk-in beer cave, expanded cooler doors and coffee bar, a larger kitchen to include made-to-order sub-sandwiches, and most recently, pizza delivery.
I think his drive to succeed is that he always wants to do the very best.
Bob's very adamant about leadership development. One of the first things I remember about Bob was taking the opportunity to actually work in a store in different positions over a period of time. And so he was actually making pizzas and washing dishes and running the register. He wanted to do that because he really wanted to understand from the ground level what it was that makes Casey's what we are today.
His style of leadership was to task people with certain jobs and expect them to perform.
He tries to find the best people for the position, and then he trusts them to do the job that they do, because people are doing the things that they know well, and he's trusting them to do that.
And we have continued to develop our training programs surrounding that leadership development opportunity.
In 2010, Bob led Casey's defense during a hostile takeover attempt, from which the company ultimately emerged stronger and more confident than ever in its value and future. The company's stock value has quadrupled during Bob's 10 years as CEO. With the recent opening of their newest distribution center in Terre Haute, Indiana, Casey's has expanded into new states, including Arkansas, Kentucky, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Future growth opportunities continue, including the first new stores in Ohio, coming in 2017.
Bob made his mark in developing a focused 5-year strategic plan for the company, and that is how we have operated over the last several years.
I've never seen him become overcome by some challenge.
Every place we used him or moved him, if we had a problem in a certain area, that problem would go away. It wasn't long till Ron Lamb, who was the CEO after I went to chairman of the board, the two of us decided that Bob was probably going to be the next CEO. I got to tell you, when he first took over the operation, we had the cleanest spit-shine distribution center and office complex you've ever seen, still to this day.
This legacy is remarkable for someone who grew up with no retail aspirations, who as a child helped support his family with odd jobs after his father passed away. Bob later joined the U.S. Army, serving more than 2 decades with tours of duty in Vietnam, Saudi Arabia, Germany, and Kuwait, eventually rising to the level of lieutenant colonel. At Casey's, this military experience helped shape Bob's approach to problem solving, as well as leadership.
Bob Myers was a youngster in our neighborhood, about 10 years younger than me. And I first come upon him when he started working at the East 14th Street Auto Salvage. He almost quit high school. And one of the counselors called him and said, "Bob, you really don't want to do that. We have a new program where you can go to school half days and work half days."
Bob first came to Casey's in 1989 after his military career had completed, and he was just looking for something to do and approached Don Lamberti.
We discussed what was going on at Casey's, and I said, "Well, when we get this new facility open, we haven't hired a facilities manager." He said, "That's my specialty. That's what I did in the service. I'm a logistics person." When we went through the interview, he said, "More or less, I'll take the job." And I said, "Well, we haven't talked about salary yet." He said, well, I know you'll treat me well, which kind of surprised me. From that time on, he's been a pretty hard bargainer.
After more than 27 years of service at Casey's, Bob retired in April of 2016 as CEO. While he remains actively involved as chairman of the board, Bob also has more time for a few of his favorite hobbies, like sprint car racing, fishing, and golf, where he is known to be a formidable competitor. Retirement also provides Bob a chance to focus more on charity, which has always been a passion. This is reflected in Casey's commitment to small towns that it serves, but also various veteran organizations. Bob is a devoted advocate of hope for the Warriors.
I think Bob is, again, one who does a very nice job of bringing people together.
Bob is a committed veteran himself to military service and to the families, not just in the Midwest, but all over the country.
I gave Jay the task of finding out what organization is the best one to fit Casey's, but we wanted to concentrate on the Iraqi-Afghani veterans. This was an organization that was founded by 2 Marine Corps officers' wives back in 2006. Their husbands had had multiple combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, so they had an inherent passion. It's a highly successful program, focused on the right things. I'm delighted to be a part of it, delighted to do what I can, and I'm confident that Casey's will continue to support Hope for the Warriors.
He's one of our board members now, and because he's such a prominent leader in his industry and in his part of the country, that really inspires other leaders to do the same. Not just the fundraising effort, but what we can do for the communities that are surrounding the Casey's stores.
I think he's such a wonderful person. You know, his devotion to his faith, his family, to the Hope for Warriors. I mean, he's just a wonderful guy. And I feel very honored to have him as my brother.
He has helped me to be a better people manager. Again, leadership development, to not be mired in the detail, allow others to fulfill their obligation.
What did Bob accomplish on his watch? And I said, well, he come into the CEO's position, and the first thing that he wanted to do was redesign the store. We had always patched the store, and so he started with the white paper, and from the bottom up, developed this big footprint store. He installed this leadership model that I talk about. He saved us from a hostile takeover, and he quadrupled the value of the stock. Other than that, not much.
Each year, Winsight and CSP Magazine honor a retailer for his or her superior leadership, innovative spirit, and positive impact on their organization and the industry at large. For these reasons and more, we are honored to recognize Bob Myers of Casey's General Stores as the 2016 Retail Leader of the Year.
Congratulations, Bob, on being the Retail Leader of the Year.
Congratulations, Bob, on being selected as Retail Leader of the Year.
Congratulations, Bob, for being selected as the Retail Leader of the Year.
Congratulations, Robert, for being selected Retail Leader of the Year.
Bob, on behalf of the Hope for the Warriors staff and the Board of Directors, congratulations on being the 2016 Retail Leader of the Year.